Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of day it is. Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Dr. Don. For your first-time viewers, Conversations with Dr. Don is an ongoing series of one-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people like most of you out there about who they are as unique, one-of-a-kind individuals and about whatever it is that we have decided to talk about. Now, the title of today's show is Pacific Islander Kolini Fusitua. Kolini Fusitua, did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And interesting how I met him and how I invited him to be a guest on the show. And I assure you when this hour is over, you're going to want to have another hour with him because he's deucedly interesting about so many facets of his life. And I'm a little nervous right now. How are you? How are you feeling?
No. I'm a little nervous myself. This is the first time, being in front of cameras and so forth.
Yeah.
So this is all new.
And you're going to have a good time, I promise you.
All right. Sounds good.
So as you know, the first half of the show is what I call the bio segment, where I talk to you about who you are personally so our viewers can have an idea where you're coming from and why you think and feel the way that you do and the responses you give when I ask you a question. You have an idea who you are. And typically the second half of the show is where we're talking about Pacific Island and the Pacific Islands and all that sort of stuff. And we have a bit of a cheat sheet here about the things we'll cover. And anything else you think we should talk about, just mention it, and we'll talk about it.
No.
You feeling any better now?
No, yeah. I'm getting better now.
And you have some support with you sitting in the studio with us.
Yes, I do.
What's your buddy's name again?
Yes, his name is Lata. Lata, yes.
You're not before the cameras, but next time we'll have you before the cameras, Lata. Thank you for being here. Okay, let's start off now with... I always have one or two trick questions for my guests where they least expect them.
Okay, save it for the next guest.
that was our next question.
We can move on to the next one, all right? How's that?
Okay, let's skip it now.
Yeah.
When and where were you born?
There. So, yeah, I was born in Tonga, and so it was back a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yes.
That's all you want to say.
Well, it's so long I just don't even remember.
All right. Okay.
So, yeah, I was born in Tonga.
And where is Tonga?
Tonga is in the middle of the Polynesian Triangle. So, in the neighborhood of New Zealand, Fiji, Samoa, Tahiti. So, it's in the middle of the Polynesian Triangle.
And your family is from that area for generations. Huh?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Why did you leave there to come to the U.S. mainland?
Well, I didn't leave. My parents left.
Yes.
So when they left, I have to follow. So because they left, they came here for economic reasons. That's it. They didn't come here for sightseeing. They didn't come here to, go to Broadway. Anything. They came here for economic reasons.
Economic reasons meaning that they weren't making enough money to have a better life there in Tonga.
Well, they had good life there, but they just didn't have the economic, things that they want. Their needs are being taken care of. But their wants are limited.
Yes.
Because of financial.
So that's why most of them are leaving to come to the mainland U.S.
Yes, that's true, and that's why I'm here, because my parents left, and wanting a better life for myself. So hopefully, when they left, they were hoping that I would one day have an education. So.
And you've been on that track for some time, getting your education, huh?
So yes, I have.
Will you say a few words about that? Your education.
My education,
yes.
So I graduated from Beaverton High School, and then
that's Beaverton, Oregon.
Beaverton, Oregon. But when I graduated from Beaverton, I had no plans of moving on. I had no plans. My surroundings did not push me to move on beyond high school. The only reason I went to college is because my friends at the end of the summer, everybody left. everybody left to college.
And you were sitting there.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one, you know, that's around. Because all my white friends, they all left.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they were planning to go to college. They were talking about it, but it was over my head.
Yeah.
So come September, and that's when I went to PCC.
Portland Community College. Now
yes.
and then I'll say that because people are watching this from all over the country and all over the world.
Oh, I see. Okay, excuse me. Yeah.
No,
I went to Portland Community College just to find out what do they need from me in order for me to enroll in their school.
Yeah.
So because it's all new for me. So, somehow, I applied for financial aid, and I got financial aid, and I started going to school.
Let me interrupt with a little personal story of my own at this time, okay? I dropped out of junior high school many years ago because I was born and raised in New Orleans, and we were pretty poor, and because of my skin color and the races down there like that. And my elementary school education was not very efficient anyhow. So going on to college or even going to high school, I don't know what that was about because the education was so poor for people like of my color down there. And finally I went to LA City College to see what it's all about. I had no idea what it was all about, what classes are like that. It was totally green for me, But something said, keep going, and I learned the hard way. Mm. Well, to bring that to a close, many years later on, I ended up with a PhD in clinical psychology.
Wow.
So I took it.
Yes.
All the way.
All right.
So I have no idea where you're coming from.
Yeah. That's the same thing that happened to me.
Uh-huh.
I was going to territory that I have no clue. And nobody was supporting me.
Why is it you continued in that direction? You had no clue, but you kept going in that direction. Why is that?
Why?
Yes.
Because that's where you learn.
Uh-huh.
Going, leaving your familiar and exploring the unknown. It was a closed door for me. So I want to find out what's behind the closed door.
But everybody who experienced that didn't do what you did. Why is it? What is it unique about you that have you keep going and pushing and keep learning? What is it about you that's unique?
I don't think there's anything unique about me. It's just because my parents have told me when I was young, they came here for, as mentioned earlier, for economic reason, to have a better education for myself.
Yes.
So after high school, when, the thing didn't happen, and that's when I remember, and that's when I would pursue and go into the unknown and trying to figure out, even though with the challenges and everything, so it reminded me of what my parents told me. So that's why I kept going, and it wasn't easy.
And you're still going?
Well, I'm learning today. I'm here with you.
And so am I. I'm a student right now at Portland Community College.
All right.
Yeah, after all these years, I'm still in school. I've got my student ID card because I will always be in school learning some way or another because I love it, Yeah. But I ended up talking about me now. We're supposed to be talking about you.
No, that's right. I want to hear about you too. So.
Yeah. What kind of work have you done all these years in addition to pursuing your education? What kind of work do you do? Are you doing now, or did you do, or what?
Right now, I'm a case manager. I'm a case manager for URCO, and I work specifically with Pacific Island as a culture specific.
Will you say what URCO means? IRCO. What does that stand for?
Immigrant, Refugee, Community of Oregon. So URCO stands for Immigrant and Refugee Community of Oregon.
That's an organization, and you work for them?
Yes. So I work for them, and then my job is culture specific. So I case manage only Pacific Island students. And this is the first here in Portland.
The first time
in Portland? The first time they have a case manager that is of Pacific Island background, working with the island student and the families.
So somehow or the people in power recognized that was needed.
It was needed.
Yeah.
and it's still needed. And then the good thing is, and now they have somebody like me, and you know they have another staff that is Pacific Island that's working with the community, so which is good.
So when you say
it's a move forward.
yes, when you say working with the community, you have a person who's from Tonga, who's here and is new and have moved in. They've got to become acquainted with and learn the system. So this is where you come in and you assist them to learn how the system works and how to work in it and earn a living and not just satisfy your needs but your wants and have a better life overall than where you left from.
Yes. I actually do that during off hours. But what I do specifically is working with students, assisting them with their education. Yes. And helping the family know the American school system. Because, you know, parenting and supporting our children here in America is different from our support system back in Tonga. So the parent bring the same support system that they use back home and apply it here, and that doesn't work. So my job is to teach them, you know, the school system here and have them try to adjust to it. It's not that they're doing anything wrong. The information I'm giving them is just in addition to what they already know to better help themselves, help their children.
Sure. And there's differences in culture and systems in different parts of the world. So you think of any particular person or group that you work with recently in adjusting to the American culture? Anybody come to mind, or anybody, something unique about somebody you're working with?
Oh, yes. Because sometimes I have to call the parents and tell them little Johnny has been misbehaving. And they say, what are the teachers doing? Well, what they're doing is telling me that little Johnny is misbehaving, and then my job is to let you know. But you see, their mentality is, if little Johnny is misbehaving, why is the teacher calling me? Because your job as a teacher is to educate my child, one, discipline my child, teach my child manners, teach them respect, along with everything else.
And you're having some success.
Yes. Because I'm the bridge between the community and the school community, the Tongan community and the school community, because of the culture.
Now, your organization and what you're doing here in the Portland area, do you have similar organizations in other major cities in the country that support the Tongan community?
Not that I know of. I'm not saying no, but of my knowledge, no, not that I know of.
So, do you make a lot of money in this job?
Oh, I make it brings me a lot of satisfaction. I'm very happy with what I do. It's extremely rewarding, but it's not monetary rewarding. So
you do it for love.
Once a month, I have a bad day. Once a month, guarantee I have a bad day. So other than that, I love my job. I would do it over and over again. And it's not for the money. Like I say, it's rewarding, but monetary, it's not rewarding. But I already know, you know, I knew it in advance. And that's why I do what I do, you know.
Yeah.
So.
You know, digressing again to something personal. You know, I had knee replacement surgery about 6 or 7 weeks ago, and it's very successful, but I go to my physical therapist a couple of times a week as we're getting full use of my knee back again. And he's quite an interesting character. John is his name, and I'll say some more about him in the next show. He's a delightful human being, and you know, human beings are uniquely different from person to person.
True.
And I'm laying on my back, and he's massaging my knee, and we're chatting. And he paused for a minute, and he said to me, what do you love? And I blinked. So what do I love? how do I answer that? And I looked at him, and he's looking at me, and he's wanting an answer. And I thought, when somebody who I meet for the first time looks at me and I look at him or her, and somehow or other we connect. I don't know how that happens, but I feel a connection with that person. Right. That's what I love, because I can't tell.
Yes.
Like what happened with you and I in Winco. Now, I bought this sign with me, and I'm a protester, and I was Winco, the big department store here in town, and I was in shopping, and you were shopping, and I'm walking down the aisle, and you're walking the other way, and I had this sign on, and you saw it, and you looked at it, and you looked at me, I looked at you, and we connected.
Yep.
And I thought, I don't know who this guy is, but I want to know more about him. And then we found out that a little bit about you in a few words. So then we met again to learn a little more to see how we're going to do on this show. But the point is, there was something special about you and about me where we connected. And for me, what's important in life is those moments when two human beings connect in that unique sort of a way. It makes a memory that lasts for years and years and years, forever and ever. So when John asked me that question,
what you love, and that is what you love.
Yeah.
The connection with whoever it might be.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. Here's your trick question.
All right.
Kolini, what do you love?
What do I love?
Yes.
This is what I love. If I meet a stranger, just like you say, whether he or she, if I meet them for the first time, or even, co-worker, family, whoever it might be, when I leave, when I'm walking down the street, walking down wherever, when I turn my back, I want them to say, oh, I learned something. I learned something from that person, or just having the feeling that it was positive. I don't want to leave and then for them to say, behind my back, some stuff that they're not happy with because of my engagement with them. So when I leave here, I hope that you would say, oh, it was a good experience having Kolini here on my show. That I would love, and I'll be satisfied, I'll be happy. That's what makes me happy. When I leave somebody, they have good thoughts about me. And that's what I love.
Yeah. And I always wait for those moments when it does happen, because there are some things I can plan for and arrange for and do all sorts of things, but then there are a few other things that just have to happen. I can't arrange at so-and-so time I'm going to meet a guy like Kolini and we're going to connect again. So I've got some good memories I'm storing up all these many, many years.
There.
All right. Do you follow politics at all?
Do I follow politics?
At all?
I dabble a little bit in politics.
Okay. Are you a right winger or a left winger or what?
Oh, I say left, not extreme left, but left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have any memberships in civic or social organizations that you're a member of that would be worth mentioning for the viewers? You mentioned a couple of organizations you're associated with.
Yes. I'm associated with APAC, Asian Pacific American Chamber of Commerce.
Will you say that again?
Yeah, APAC, APACC, Asian Pacific American Chamber of Commerce.
And you viewers out there, you need to know that Kolini's email address is on the screen periodically during the show, so you have questions about what we're talking about now, and email him and get some more information from him about, there's an email address. So you can keep learning some more, because we don't have all the hours we need to cover the stuff. I mean, you got a whole broad area of the world that there's a whole depth of knowledge and learning that I'd like to touch into, but I can only go so far because of my limited cultural awareness of you. So, are there any persons in the world or in Tonga that you particularly admire or look up to from the past or alive today? any human beings, man or woman, or in the U.S. or the world?
Well, because see, in my island we have a monarchy government.
Yes.
And when I left Tonga, back whenever I left, well back, 1975, the king that we had back then, that's the memory I had. And even when I moved here, I still, follow up. Or, well, I didn't follow up. I hear things of what he does. So, and since then, we had 2 different kings. And maybe 2, 3. And so that king, he was a he's personable and he's people person. And I think he did well for our island.
Do you remember his name?
Yes.
What was his name? Easy for you to say.
Yes. So that's his name. Yeah, that's the king.
Yeah.
And so
and you have fond memories of about him.
Yes. It maybe because I left the island, and that's when I felt, stripped out of my comfort zone, and so maybe it was I don't know, for whatever reason, stuck in my mind. And
do you see yourself going back to the island at any time?
Yes, of course. Yes. Eventually, I'm going to be fishing in my old days.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're looking forward to them nominating you to be the king?
No, I don't, that's not an option. No, I'm not in the hierarchy. I'm not in the family to be.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
I'm just too much of a commoner.
Too much of a. What's a commoner?
I think the commoner are the one that should be running the system of government, whatever it might be. So instead of just labeling us as commoners,
Okay.
maybe commoners should be leaders, should be kings, should be president.
Are you a socialist?
No, not the commoners as a whole, but somebody from the, a commoner person, where some government, they have somebody that's already been molded into be leadership.
Yeah.
And so they're not coming from the commoners, they're not picked out from it. They're somewhat hand molded by political interests and so forth.
Yeah.
And so you have people puppeting them.
You ready?
At least my opinion.
You
But
ready?
I don't want to go into politics.
No, I don't want either. I just want to know what you think about it, how far you want to go. You ready for your trick question?
Trick question, okay.
Trick question.
Yes.
If I were to ask your best friend, who is Kolini? What would your best friend say? Oh, Kolini is, and give me the words your best friend would use to describe who you are. Who is Kolini? Just do it in the first person.
Okay. He's always available. He's always available he's always available. He's willing to accommodate. Always willing to help if he has the means to help.
And you learned that a long time ago.
I learned that.
Because as you know, we're all part of what we are today as a result of what happened, not just genetically, but also in the nurturing and the upbringing and how our parents raised us.
Yes,
and
true,
the values
true.
they gave us. And I like to think for me, Mama, because we called her Mama, I was the 12th child, an old-fashioned family. And Mama cared about everybody, and she was known as the world's mama. And As a matter of fact, I was 13 years old and she was still calling me baby, which used to make me mad as heck. I was still her baby.
Starting to be a grown boy then.
Yeah. But so, okay, I can't think of anything more to ask you of a personal nature. We might take a break and then talk about other stuff to do with Tonga and the community you're working with here and
Sure.
other things that we might bring up.
Right.
So, Mr. Director, can we take a break, please? Okay, we're back, and thanks for staying tuned. Now, for your viewers who missed the opening of the show, Conversations with Dr. Don, that you're watching is an ongoing series of one-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people like most of you out there and Kolini Fusitua about who he is as a unique, one-of-a-kind individual and whatever it is we've decided to talk about. And we're talking about Pacific Islands and that part of the world and their culture and the integration of people from that part of the world into mainstream American culture and society. So let's pick up where we left off and see where we go from here. How's your family been treated since coming to the U.S.? How has your family been treated since coming to the U.S.?
So my family's been treated well.
Mm-hmm.
And then part of it is because my parents, their English is very limited. And their knowing of how American system is run, they is very limited, if not have no clue. So for me to say they've been treated well is probably close of their experience of what they think they've been treated.
Uh-huh.
Because even when they're, if they were mistreated, they would not know.
Uh-huh.
They have nothing to compare it to.
Yes.
So it's because of the not knowing, they just think everything's all groovy. so they have no grounds to complain.
Uh-huh.
Because they think, oh, maybe this is the best, that what I'm getting. So I would say being treated well, and part of it is because of not knowing.
Part of it is because of not knowing.
Yeah.
What do you like about being here as compared to being in Tonga? Of course, you were so small when you were there, but can you make some comparisons to Tonganese? Is that how you say it?
No, Tongan.
A Tongan.
Yeah.
Living in Tonga and a Tongan living
being as a Tongan in Tonga and being a Tongan here in America.
Yes.
Compared to it's extremely it's different because in Tonga we we have a collective community, collective family, collective. Everything is collective. Community, everything it is. Whereas here, America value individualism. We value collectivism. And so when we're at home, and if we're lacking, if we don't have anything, we always have our family as a backup support. We have the people from the community as a backup support. We have our neighbor as a backup support. Versus here, if you're not doing well, And if you're getting unemployment and that comes to an end because now you can't find a job, your next option is being on the street. And now because you don't have the support that we would have back in Tonga. That's the good thing. But the bad thing in Tonga is we don't have all these shiny lights and so forth. To us, it's wow. You know, look at all these lights, you know. It's exciting because we don't see that. We do have lights and electricity back home, but not all flashy like this, how it is in America. So we go wild to all this, you know, so-called modern thing, advancement, technology, and so forth. So,
do you have hunger in Tonga generally?
have you seen a small Polynesian before? Have you seen that?
That's very good.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that in the Rexic Polynesian before?
Ah, boy.
So,
That's a good gotcha on that one.
we're pretty well fed. See, we are poor. We are poor economic wise, but you see, our needs, you know, are met because we grow and we grow and we plant what we consume. We grow and, you know, we have our livestock, you know, we have that. We go out and plant our food. We go fishing. And now, if you don't have a job, you're still going to be well fed.
Mm-hmm.
You have your own house. You're not paying rent. If your electricity gets cut off, it's okay. We have moonlight. Okay? That's it. It's not a problem.
But you don't have homelessness.
No, we don't. That's not an issue. And we don't have a hunger problem and so forth. No homelessness.
Is there a big difference in the wealth of the population in Tonga? Is there a class of people who are very rich and another class who are very, very poor?
Yes. The commoners, they're the one without. And then there's the other end, you know, who are leaders of the government and so forth. Mm-hmm. That, you know, they're doing better off than the commoners. And there is no middle class. It's just one set of group from the community, and then the leaders of the government.
So that area of the Pacific is more aligned with the U.S. and the West, politically and socially, rather than the mainland China or some other parts of the world.
Oh yes, true, yes. Mm-hmm. Our former government, the monarchy government, is more in line with the government here in the state, mm-hmm. versus China and other countries.
You have a note here that mentions immigration reform. What does that mean for you, immigration reform, as a Tongan?
As a Tongan? Because, you see, we have to apply for a visa to enter here. And we have a lot of Tongans that's here that enter the country with a visiting visa. Uh-huh. And then once their visa expired, they kind of like to hang out a little bit longer. They kind of get tired of fishing. You know, you eat so many fish, you get tired of it. You know?
And they don't become anorexic.
So, you know, and so they stay here longer, and now their immigration status, you know, is out the window. Mm. So that's why with my community, we look forward to see what this immigration reform will come out to be. And then hopefully it'll be something that we'll benefit from.
Is it being discussed now in government, immigration reform, as it applies to Tongans? You want to revise the immigration system so that you can come to this country and become part of the overall American system without having to jump through all those hoops?
I didn't follow. I'm sorry.
So, if your visa runs out,
yes,
you want to be able to become part of America and not be considered an immigrant or an outsider.
Mm-hmm.
You're an American citizen. If you revise the system of immigration, then it would be easier for you to transition from being a Tongan to
Yeah.
being an American,
Being American.
being an outside person.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's what we're hoping for. And you know, if it turn out well, then that'll be a welcome thing for my community.
Do you think about immigration beyond just for the Tongans? What about immigration across the U.S.-Mexican border and Canada and the U.S. and immigration in general as far as the U.S. is concerned? Should America's policy on immigration be looked at and be more generous in terms of allowing people from other cultures in other parts of the world to come and be a part of America? Would you like to see immigration be a little more friendly for people coming in?
Yes, yeah, I think it'll benefit the country if it's immigrant friendly a little bit to some extent, but not fully, welcoming loosely with the immigration restriction. And then with the border, with the border security, they want to spend so much money on. My thought on that is, because they're saying maybe because of the terrorists and so forth. If they want to come here, they have money. They can just fly here. They're not going to go over a fence. They'll get here. So
I'll let you think. Why is it that they want to come here? And
I'm sure it's because of the same reason that we came here. We came here for economic reason.
Yeah.
And I don't think people from outside of here pick and choose America to become a nuisance. I think everybody come here for a legitimate reason, for economic reason. Mm-hmm. And people like myself appreciate America for what America has, have to offer myself.
Mm-hmm. So people generally, Americans, treat you well and treat you okay and don't look down on you as brown skin or Tongan rather than white Americans?
Well, they treat me as a immigrant. They treat me as a brown person. They treat me, and I can read that, and I can deal with it, and I know how to manage it. And sometimes I'm not treated well, but I know how to maneuver around it. But the sad thing is, I've seen it happen to other people, and they're not able to see it, and so they take advantage of them, and they kind of shy away and just let it slide, and so forth. And that's a bad part, and that's a sad thing for me to see. So because I can handle it, I can see it, and I know how to maneuver, and I can accommodate.
Yes.
So
it's a matter of treating people decently and fairly. That's what counts on the personal level, and whether you're Tonganese or black or Tongan. What are Tonganese?
That's right.
Yeah. Southwest Contractor. What are we going to say about that? We got that something to talk about here. Talk about that.
Oh, the Southwest Contractor?
Please.
I mentioned earlier, remember I'm a case manager?
Case manager?
Yes. And once a month, I have a bad day. That's my payday. Other than that, I'm always having a good day. So that's why I started a business with a friend of mine. That's sitting next to you right there. And then so we started Southwest Contractor, LLC. Working, doing residential, concrete work, stone, brick work, the fence, roofing, and general contractor, any residential work that that's needed. So, and that's why I you know, I started this with a friend of mine because I'm not getting monetary
Enough.
enough,
Yeah.
as mentioned earlier in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So this is in addition to what I do. So this is what I do on the side. Starting to.
So maybe
Just
2
starting.
days out of the month you'll be happy, right? Instead of just one.
No, it's one day that I'm not happy.
That
Yeah.
you're not happy.
Yeah, that's my payday.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with my job. I'm happy with my job.
Okay.
Yeah. But with the Southwest contractor LC.
Southwest.
Yeah.
How experienced, this is kind of a dumb question, how experienced are the workers in this venture, the Southwest contracting? Are you journeyman or?
Oh, we don't have any employees right now.
Okay.
We have ourselves, and with my partner, he has 15 plus years doing construction in various fields as framing, doing framing, carpentry, concrete work, and so forth.
So they'd have good references.
Yes, we do. And with his experience and with his knowledge, coupled with my knowledge of whatever that may be, put it together and hopefully, we'll make something out of it.
Okay. How come you had me put down rugby on this list of things to talk about? That's out of the blue. Why rugby?
Why not?
Because
why not?
I'm American and I don't have much interest in rugby. Why do you want to talk about rugby?
Well, it's rugby because for Tongan, rugby is like the #1 game.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
We are world known in the field of rugby. And I love rugby. I was involved in starting the first under 19 rugby team here in Oregon, and that's in 1999. Back then, there was only 2 teams. There was a team that's my team, and another coach was coaching it, and there was another team in Vancouver. So there was only 2 teams, 1999, and we had it for 2 years. And I told people, the first 2 years, my team, we either won or we took the champion or the second place. So, you're pretty good. You're a pretty good coach. You're a very good coach. Oh yeah, we either take first place or we come, second runner-up. Yeah, we were good back then. But see, there was only 2 teams back in 1999.
I heard you the first time.
No.
Sure.
What I'm saying is, by now, there's like, I think maybe 47 teams.
Really?
40, yeah, boys and girls, under 19. Under 19. So that's why rugby was there, because the Tongan loved rugby, and I was a rugby coach for the youth.
So can you tell me in a few words what rugby is about, if that doesn't take too long?
Rugby is football is a spin-off of rugby.
Rugby was first, then football.
Yes, rugby was first, and then here in America they took rugby out, and took a spin, and you have the American football. The difference is in rugby you don't wear pads, and there's no blocking involved. So when you're the ball carrier, you are out there on your own. So versus American football, if you're the ball carrier, you have all this 300-pounder blocking for you. Or in rugby, you're a ball carrier. You make sure you run fast. So
yeah,
that's what it is.
So rugby is.
And you can't pass the ball forward. Okay, you just pass it back lateral, but you can't pass it forward.
Are you playing nowadays?
Nowadays?
Are you coaching nowadays?
Just because I look good doesn't mean I'm good enough to play. I'm too old.
Of course. Yeah, but kids love
Yeah.
it, huh?
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking about rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah. My partner there, he plays rugby. He's good.
He's so tiny.
So
You're going to be on next time. How come Tongans, I said it right, are so big and muscular? They've always been that big and muscular. Why is that? Because of their diet or the ocean down there or what?
it might be just. Remember, I mentioned earlier, our needs are being met. You know,
Yeah.
because we grow, and we grow and we raise what we consume. So it's not like you're going to 30-year-old Safeway, drive there, bring up, and get a piece of steak. You got to go feed the cow. you know? So you have to go jump in the ocean and wrestle with the shark to share some of the fish. It takes some energy to do this. So you got to plant some food. It takes some energy. So
Yeah.
and because of that active lifestyle, just to getting our basic need met. And
Yeah.
probably that's why.
So
it would contribute to it in addition to just genes.
as I hear you talking about what it is to live there and be a native, there's to some extent I can make a comparison between my cultural heritage and my childhood and yours, and it's limited, of course, depending on how similar we are, generally speaking, in our lifestyles. But I'm thinking about in New Orleans, and we ate a lot of seafood and crawfish and shrimp and crab and all kinds of fishing, probably more than other parts of the country because of Louisiana. And Lake Pontchartrain, I think about when I was 5 or 6 years old and I darn near drowned because we were shrimping in Lake Pontchartrain. Well, I'm the youngest of my 4 brothers and all the sisters, and we're out there on the lakefront at night, and there's a charcoal burner and hot grease, and catch the shrimp with a cast net and pop them in the grease and eat them like that.
Fresh, yeah.
Fresh. And we had a lot of our meals to do with seafood and with shrimp that we caught fresh like that. But it calls back memories of what it was like as a child. When I almost drowned there, I was going down for the 3rd time, I think. Somehow or other, I wasn't too far from the seawall, and I stepped into a hole or something, and I was drowning, and I was a skinny little kid, just about 5 or 6 years old. And I finally heard one of my sisters say, he's drowning. And then my oldest brother, before I went under again, I saw him dive in the water and drag me out. And I was unconscious, and I was skinny. And my little ribs were there. Well, then the concrete on the seawall was just a rough concrete. So at that time, they didn't have the modern way of resuscitating.
No.
So they put you on your belly and squeeze the water out of you. And they wore all the skin off of my ribs. The water came out. But the memories that come back, but those are delightful times and a different sort of a culture then. And to buy the clams and crack them open and bait the water first, and then, like the old Greeks used to do it with the nets in the teeth and the lead around the edge, and they'd spread it out and catch it. Oh. Did you do any shrimping like that when you were in Tonga?
Not shrimp.
No.
We do, yeah. With the fishing, we do netting. We do spear fishing.
Spear fishing.
Yes.
You did that?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So you have to dive down with the spear. With no, what do you call those things?
Scuba.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to dive down with the spear,
But there's a difference in when I'm eating, how that food got to my plate and to my mouth. If I went to the supermarket and bought it, or me and my brothers or the family went out and caught it,
yes,
there's a difference.
Yes, huge difference, obviously, yeah.
Do you go fishing anymore?
No, I don't, because I'm not familiar with, with the water here and so forth. And it's too cold.
Oh, yeah, it's cold, yeah.
So I end up just like everybody, going to Freight and Safeway and get the salmon there.
Get the salmon. Yeah. So what else?
I used to tell kids, because case manager, I mentioned it, tell the kids, because you always hear older people say, oh, here in America, I used to walk 5 miles, snow up to here, back and forth to school. And sometimes I tell people, yeah, when I was in Tonga, I have to swim a half a mile to school and a half a mile back. But on my way to school, I have to pick up lunch. Because they don't serve lunch in school. So when I'm swimming to school, I have to pick up lunch.
Yeah.
Do that at a very young age.
Yeah. Now, we're running out of time. We've got 2 or 3 more minutes left to talk about stuff. What is it that you think the viewers would find interesting? Any more thoughts about Tonga or your being in this country or anything else? You can talk to them on that camera there. Any final thoughts that you have for the viewers about your being on the show, whatever else comes to mind?
Well, I just want to say that here in Portland, Tonga's been here for over 30 years, but we're just not noticeable in a community and so forth because the city government has not noticed us or make note that we have been here.
The Portland city government.
Portland, yes. But you see, our children have taken schools to championship. We have Roosevelt. We have a Tongan kid that brought. Roosevelt is always on the news for, low performance, low budget, needing help, and so forth. So now a Tongan, he's only a junior, brought the state champion to Roosevelt. And so we are here. We're doing good stuff, good deeds, and so forth. And we've taken other school championship because of our Tongans, even some more in youth and so forth. So we need to be recognized that we're here to be counted as not only as Portland, but a part of the American mainstream society. So, and my name is Kolini, and in Tonga we say malo lele. And say malo means thank you.
Yeah. You want to tell the viewers again about your guest in the studio here, the buddy who came with you?
Oh, yes. I have Lata here. He is my business partner for Southwest Contractor, LLC. And if anybody's interested in having any work done at your residence, feel free to contact us at the email on the monitor there.
All right, so it's close to time for us to stop visiting and get ready to say goodnight. And keep those pens and pencils handy because you may want to jot down something that we'll show you in the closing credits. And thanks again for watching. I invite you to give us feedback, both positive and negative, about any aspect of the show. And now it looks like I'm going to tell you about some public service announcements.
One more thing.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Dr. No. And if anybody's interested in just finding out more about Tongan here, about the Tongan community and so forth, feel free to contact.
All right, let's go to PSAs again, Mr. E. Public service announcements. Yeah, to get my show local broadcast schedule, go to my website and click on present day activities, and it can tell you how to get my show on the web. The next public service announcement is coming up in a moment. The American Civil Liberties Union. I guess we want you to know about the ACLU. Our civil liberties are really in danger anymore with this present administration, and I am political, but the American Civil Liberties Union are interested in preserving our civil liberties. So join the ACLU. It's a wonderful organization. I've been a member for about 35 or 40 years. Another PSA to get my shows broadcast by other stations. You can ask your local public access station to go to www.pegmedia.org and follow the instructions on how to get my show broadcast from other stations in other parts of the country. We got to end corporate personhood. The Supreme Court decision that says corporations are persons and money is speech is wrong. It's erroneous. So we've got to take our Constitution back and say that corporations are not persons and money is not speech. Go to www.movetoamend.org to figure out how we can amend the Constitution to take our country back. And I want to say rest in peace, poor people's president, Hugo Chavez. He's been gone now for some months, but he's been a hero of mine, along with the same caliber as Jesus Christ, Martin Luther King, and Gandhi, and a few other people who are real heroes, and they're interested in peace and loving fellow human beings. And now, thanks for watching. And remember KFC, and not Kentucky Fried Chicken, not that KFC, Dr. Don's KFC. Kind, friendly, and charitable. Be kind, be friendly, and be charitable. To you too. And you too. And you too. And you too. Thanks again for watching. I look forward to talking to you some more in the future. Good night.